Alright guys, here we are. We're going to dive right into the stage presentation timeline. We're starting with part one, which is mandatories and quarter turns. So what I want to do is I want to explain what you're actually doing for this practice. Now, I'm going to show you guys the overall list of events, is what I'll refer to it as, or the actual table itself that you're going to base all of these changes off of. So we'll take a look at that right now, and let's go ahead and go over it just briefly so you guys get an idea of what it is. It's very self-explanatory. Obviously you have your week breakdown. I've broken it down for you guys in two different durations for a contest prep, and you can make this fit for any iteration of the two that we have here. So obviously if it's a shorter prep, maybe 14 or 12 weeks, or even longer, so possibly 22, 24, 28, and so on. There's a lot of flexibility with this, but I decided to stick with these two time frames and then go from there. So again, we're going to start with taking a look at what is most obvious, and that is week by week there will be changes that are made. All right, and each change going down the list, we're going to dive into that with each different segment. And so, like again, what you guys see here is MQ on number one. All right, that's mandatories and quarter turns. All right, so from this point on, if you see MQ on any of the lists, or the documents or the videos, that's going to be mandatories and quarter turns. All right, this is a basic practice that is seen throughout the entire prep. So if you take a look at the actual list breakdown, we have a lot of work on our mandatories and quarter turns, and this is just so that we can get practice and repetition, and that's how you build the confidence that you need to perform on stage with a really well packaged presentation. All right, so mandatories and quarter turns, we're talking spending at least 20 to 30 minutes outside of your workout time. Now, preferably, this is separate from your workout itself. So a lot of times you'll notice that cardio, for instance, gets broken down and separated from your weight training workouts. I like to do the same thing with my posing because it gives me time to focus on it. Now, a lot of people have heard, hey, I need to pose after my workout because I'm fatigued, and posing while I'm fatigued is going to be better for me because it puts more stress on my body, makes me adapt more, stuff like that. Forget about it. If you can pose with its own completely different session, maybe at the end of the day, you're done with your cardio, done with your meal prep, done with your workout, you could really dedicate 20-30 minutes to this. We're just talking mandatories and quarter turns. There's no other explanation for what you're doing there. You're simply focusing on the fine-tuned details of each pose, putting yourself through the quarter turns, putting yourself through the mandatory poses. And again, this repetition is going to build a lot of structure in your routine. All right. Once you start nailing down these poses and hitting them week after week after week after week, then you become much more confident, looks that much better. All right. So you notice there, we do take 2 weeks off from mandatories and quarter turns. All right. This is just going to give yourself a break from having to go through that practice, because ideally we are getting this practice done quite often. All right. So we're looking at least 2 to 3 times a week. We want to work on our mandatories and quarter turns. All right, so take a look at week one. We're fitting in at least 2 sessions, maybe 3 sessions of half-hour blocks for mandatory and quarter turns. That's an hour and a half if you did 3 at 30 minutes at the end of week one. An hour and a half of posing time is a lot of posing time. Even if you broke it down to just 1 hour spent on that, all right, so maybe 2 sessions or 3 20-minute sessions, then what happens by the time you get to week 20? That's at least 20 hours worth of posing practice on just your mandatories and quarter turns. Now, there's no way you'll be able to say by the time you get on stage after all of that work that you don't feel well enough prepared for these poses. So that's why it's very important that we go through this practice again. This is just part one, mandatories and quarter turns. Take a look again, guys. Go back and look at the actual table of events here and how it's going to go. Some of these things might not make sense to you yet. Obviously, that's why I'm making the videos for them. But mandatories and quarter turns is going to be seen throughout the entire timeline, more so than any of the other practices. All right. This is our first video getting into the stage presentation timeline. I hope it helps. Make sure you guys ask questions if you have any, because I'll be more than happy to explain them to you. So keep in mind, this is flexible as well. I can't stress that enough. And this is something for everybody, not just your first-time competitor. If you're a seasoned competitor and you look at yourself and you say, do I really spend this much time doing my mandatories and quarter turns? If the answer is no, then you have to ask yourself, could I benefit from posing with my mandatories and my quarter turns this often, chances are the answer is going to be yes. Anybody can benefit from it. So again, keep this in mind. It's not just for first-time people and amateurs. All right. Thanks again, guys. I hope you're excited for the new series because this is something new that I'm hoping brings a little bit more of a spark, a little bit more structure into the bodybuilding scene when it comes to presentations on stage. All right. I'll see you guys soon. Thanks.